My name is Tina Roth Eisenberg. Most people might know me as Swiss Miss, which is the name of my blog, and I live in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. So most people probably know me for my blog called Swiss Miss. It's a blog I started 8 years ago on which I celebrate design, things I find in my daily surfing adventures or just in living a life as a designer. And it has grown into a really big following, which is amazing and humbling and all together. But I do much more than just my blog. I am originally a graphic designer that ran my own design studio, but I've started a few side projects that allowed me to actually let go of my clients, which is a very fortunate place to be. And now my various side projects have actually grown into small businesses. And one of them is a temporary tattoo company that I started 2 years ago out of my frustration of being annoyed with the hideous temporary tattoos my daughter would bring home. And being a designer, having a great network of illustrators, it was just easy for me to change that. And I never expected it to grow into what it has grown. But now we're a team of 10 and we ship around the world and it's humbling. It's amazing. And I also started a lecture series called Creative Mornings, which I started 5 years ago here in New York in my studio. And I just had this desire of starting an event where I can meet creative people in my city for free in the morning, once a month for breakfast. And I started that, and it has amazingly grown into a global organization now, and we're in over 52 cities around the world. So there's a funny story about me moving to New York. I grew up on the beautiful Swiss countryside in the mountains. When I was 20, I went to my parents and I made them a presentation, or let's say I tried to, because I wanted to go to Parsons for a year. But my parents were not so fond of that idea, so they said, if you want to do an art school, it has to be in Switzerland. So I picked the furthest city away in Switzerland, which was Geneva, and luckily I got into that art school. And when I was done, I kind of warmed up that idea again of going to New York, and my mom was wonderful. She said, yeah, I totally, you want to go to New York for 3 months, I'll support that. And I had a job lined up in Zurich. I had an apartment lined up, a share. So they were kind of convinced I'm coming back. And I literally got here and I had one interview lined up on Tuesday morning. And this guy, Matthew Waltman, that ran the small design studio, it doesn't exist anymore, but he's a good friend now. He looked at me, he talked to me for 5 minutes, and the first thing he said was basically, Tina, you will never move back. And sit down, you got yourself a job. People always ask me, why did you decide to start a business? I didn't really decide to do it. It was sort of kind of I thought it's going to be fun to do this thing, or I saw a need for it, and then they evolved into businesses. I don't think I'm the entrepreneur type that goes behind it with a business plan. It's more yeah, that looks like fun, or yeah, we could use this. I think the biggest challenges I face are that I like to do so many things and start so many things that I'm probably at times a little frazzled. Luckily, all of my teams can handle that, but I think that is probably a challenge for them. And because I do so many things, I can't, pay 100% of my time and attention on one business. But I think it can be challenging for the people around me and that work with me every day. And I'm trying to be as understanding and respectful and as I can. It's really important to me that people that work for me, for example, are happy. It's really important to me that they love their job and that they love the environment. And I'm trying as good as I can to be a good boss and create a beautiful environment to work in. But I know that exactly my craziness and hopping around is also the thing that might be challenging in the end of the day. Because to be very honest, sometimes it's a little lonely to be the boss, to be at the top. Being a boss is really hard work. Yeah. think the most important thing in life is that you are true to yourself, that you can look back at your life and say, I am fully behind the decisions I made. I'm proud of the decisions I made. And by living your life, you made the world a little better, even though it might sound cheesy, but in whatever way it is, that you have an impact of your surroundings that is positive. And then I think having kids, being a mom has changed me tremendously. And I feel like that's the biggest project of my life. And I'm thankful for having given the opportunity to show two little human beings the world and try to make sure that they're going to be awesome little people.